Hi there, and welcome to this episode of Consciousness Empowerment. Here we talk about consciousness, wisdom, spiritual laws, and how to reach your fucking dreams. All right, let's get right to it. Today I'm going to share a quote by Neville Goddard in his book, Seed Time and Harvest. I don't know how I missed this one, but today it really resonated. So I'm going to share it, and then I'm going to share another concept that really is going to help you, because I've experienced it before, okay? So stay to the end to get that concept. It's something that we must apply. Now, let's look at this quote. Quote, a man's state of consciousness is his demand on the infinite storehouse of God. And like the law of commerce, a demand creates the supply. To change the supply, you change the demand. Your state of consciousness. What you desire to be, that you must feel you already are. Let's say it one more time, okay? What you desire to be, that you must feel you already are. Your state of consciousness creates the conditions of your life rather than the conditions create your state. I'm going to say that again. Your state of consciousness creates the conditions of your life rather than the conditions create your state. Okay. Your state of consciousness. Third time, I'm going to say it again. Your state of consciousness creates the conditions of your life rather than the conditions create your state of consciousness. Because look, end quote, look, you can be in a good mood and something can happen and you'll be like, you know what, I'm not even going to let this mess up my mood. So that condition is not changing your consciousness. But unfortunately, a lot of motherfucking people, something happens and they get all worried and like the condition actually impacts their state of consciousness or their psychological state. Okay, that's being reactive. Sometimes you have to be in the worst conditions possible to really understand this concept. That's why Viktor Frankl says in his famous quote, which is, quote, between stimulus and response, you have the power and freedom to choose your response, end quote. I just mentioned an example of that. Okay, you're in a good mood and say something happens, let's say a cup of coffee falls over. You're like, so what? It's cool. So what? I'm grateful I got to drop some coffee. That happens to me all the time when I do something happens or I do something that kind of, I fumble something. I might have a little bit of like, oh man, but then I say, you know what? I'm grateful. I get to do this. I get to do this. I get to do that. I get to do that. I get to do that. Da, 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 da. Just a bunch of gratitude that I get to do. You know, certain things. I get to live. I get to do this. And I switch my vibration. Okay. Because my state of consciousness, I know, creates my conditions. Okay. So he tells us here how we need to do what we need to do to get what we want. We must assume the feeling of already having it. He says, what you desire to be, that you must feel you already are. Your state of consciousness creates the conditions of your life rather than the conditions create your state of consciousness. Okay? I misspell consciousness. I always forget the S. All right? That's very, very powerful. That quote, a very, very powerful quote. Don't let it just like pass you by. Okay? Really, digest it. I had to write it down. I wanted to write it down. I could have got my book. So I have the book, I have the copy, I have the 10 books compilation. But no, I want to write it down because then it's going to be impressed more into my mind. This is what Wes Watson also says. Your state of consciousness, your frequency, your state of consciousness, the perspective you're coming from indicates your frequency. You're at a high frequency or you at a low frequency. Low frequency is when you want fucking drugs and you desire sex, like you just want it. I desire sex, but I don't need it, okay? I desire money, but I don't need it. I desire health, but I don't need it. I'm not like, I want it. Only if I can have it. You know, that's like some Smeagol type of shit from Lord of the Rings. My precious. Nah, homie. Nah, I just like, man, I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful, you know. And then you do some exercising. You give back. Maybe you have one loaf of bread. Cut it in half. Give it to another person. You're not lacking. Okay. See the difference? Both the Smeagol type person and the Miguel type person who's grateful, right? And if something does happen, I transmute it into gratitude, right? I acknowledge, okay, something kind of like messed up just happened. And then I just transmute it over and over again through repetition to get back at a higher frequency, okay? Both want the same shit, okay? They both want it, okay? But Smeagol needs it. Smeagol needs it. Okay. Miguel wants it. Doesn't need it. He's unattached. He's just focusing on raising his frequency and getting to the frequency of that goal, of that wish, of that desire, of that dream, of that inspiration. Aspiration. See the difference? Very, very, very different. One's very low vibe. Think of the Levels of Consciousness by David R. Hawkins. Desire is low. Okay, but when you're in gratitude, you're in joy. Okay. You're in joy. When you work out, you're at peace. You're at peace, you're relaxed. Whew, got the runner's high. Kind of like when your dog, same thing. If you don't walk him and do exercise with him, he's all over the place, going crazy. But when he is exercised or she's exercised, comes home, just relaxed. Good dog. Yep. And the last thing that I want to share is, this is why you stayed to the end. Have one affirmation. If you really, really want something, but of course, be at a high vibration, be grateful, do your exercise to raise your vibration, give to others. If you really, really want something, record an affirmation and stick to that one affirmation and listen to it over and over and over and over again. Go to sleep at night, put your earphones on, or you could just put the phone next to you, put the volume kind of loud if you don't have earphones. I know I lose, my last pair of earphones, my dog ate him, so it sucked. But that's what I did. I had to just put the volume up a little bit loud and go to sleep and feel it and listening to that audio. Listen to that audio. That one affirmation, or it could be two. It could be two little affirmations, but just make sure it's something that just over and over and over and over and over again. Okay, the single affirmation is powerful because it's just one thing that you're gonna create a neural pathway ingrained into your mind. Whatever it is, it could be love, it could be money, it could be health. And do it over and over and over again. Focus on that one. Don't do multiple, okay? Neville Goddard says, he had mentioned when I was listening to the audiobook, to focus on that one. Focus on your state of consciousness and don't change your state of consciousness. That's why you're not getting the thing that you want. But you could get multiple things. But what he meant is like, don't just be desiring your state and then just not be doing it anymore, not be practicing your daily visualization and things like that. Like, don't just let go of it. No, just keep doing it. But when he said that, I remember that one time I did my affirmation, only one affirmation, because it really resonated with me and it just felt so amazing. And that was the and then what I really wanted. It was what I really wanted back then, which is abundance. And this is how it goes. Quote: "Abundance is my birthright, and I welcome it in daily." Okay. So you can do that. I'm not saying you can't have multiple manifestations at one time, but if it's something that you want, just focus on it. Focus on it, sleep, and listen to it throughout the day. Make a goal of hitting maybe first 1,000, then 10,000, then 20,000 of that one affirmation, okay? And as well, use visualization. Put some scenes, see a couple of scenes, maybe one or two scenes of you already having it. For me, one of the ones that I did was my Dodge Challenger. I had two scenes, okay? One scene was me driving on the freeway and seeing my exit, my home exit. Another scene was not kind of like a scene, but it was more of a practice of feeling it. I would say, okay, how do I feel now that my Dodge Challenger is behind this one car right here? How do I feel now that my Dodge Challenger is behind all these cars that I see right now? It's behind there. I want to feel the feeling, and I feel happy and I feel good. That's when you know when you are in that vibration, because you feel good. Okay, so you do that, focus on that one goal that you want, and you'll have it. Then you have applied the knowledge and have gained experience and have gained wisdom, and now you'll have everything you want in life. As long as you stay persistent and have faith. I love you. Until next time, peace.